much for agreeing to do the interview today, Steph. So it's really, really good to see you.
Thank you. Good to see you too.
And I know that we've met probably a handful of times, less than that maybe, just over the last 6 months at various networking events locally. And we've always had a good old chat, and I really enjoy chatting to you. And see, I've kind of looked you up, and you've achieved so much in your life. So I immediately thought of you, and when I thought of doing something for International Women's Day. So I thought it would be a great opportunity to speak to you just about some of the things that you've done, that you've achieved over the years.
Well, that's lovely. Thank you very much for thinking of me. And yeah, it's an honour to be part of it.
Thank you. So as I've said, you really have achieved so much. I mean, we would need the whole afternoon to really go through all your career and milestones. But what would you say is the number one thing you are most proud of?
I would definitely say my work for the charity. That has just been an amazing journey. It started out with my own breast cancer diagnosis,
Yes,
which was harrowing and very difficult to deal with. But deciding to become a volunteer and doing the work that I've done for originally breast cancer care and now Charity Angels, it's just wonderful knowing that you've made a difference to other people's lives.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing that, you know, a lot of people know me, a lot of people shout me out in the street and go, "Hey, pink lady," and sort of, you know, weird things like that. And it's odd because while you're doing it, you're not really aware of the effect that you're having on people until somebody shouts out breast cancer lady or pink lady, and then you kind of think, oh my God, you know, they know me because of that, and it's made a difference. So yeah, there's been several things while I've been fundraising that really highlighted just how important what I've done has been. But when you're in the middle of it, you don't think of it like that.
And how has it changed you in terms of the fundraising, obviously going through the cancer diagnosis?
Funny, I was talking about this morning, actually. It sounds quite a perverse thing to say, especially to people that have lost loved ones to breast cancer, but it was probably one of the best things that ever happened to me, because I was one of those people that was just going through life like it was a dress rehearsal, and that, you know, I was going to come back for a second go. Who knows? Maybe I will. But it kind of focused me.
Yeah.
So at my diagnosis, I saw a young girl I was 48 when I was diagnosed, but I saw a young girl in her 20s get diagnosed, which was really difficult because I kept thinking her mum was with her and her mum was just distraught. And I kept thinking, how would I have been had my mum been alive when I was diagnosed? So it focused me, it gave me a goal, and it just, the more I got into it and the more people I spoke to, I just realised that we're on this planet for such a short amount of time.
Yeah.
And it's important to try to help others while we're on it.
So that was really the defining moment when you thought, I need to do something about this. I need to take
100%. When I saw that girl and her mum, and I heard her mum scream because her daughter had just been diagnosed, I just looked at my sister and I just said, I've got to do something. I honestly just thought it was going to be one of them.
Well, that was going to be my next question. What was your vision in terms of the fundraising?
The goal was, I just thought I will do something. I would do an event and I will help the charity that helped me. So when you're diagnosed, you're given a lot of information. I was given an A4 folder. And I didn't look at it for about a week because it was just all too much. You're given so much information. And just before I was going to have the surgery, I looked at it all, and it literally calmed me down. The information was brilliant. So I thought, that's who I help. It was breast cancer care. I will help them. I will do one event. And I did this event and I raised £5,000. And anybody that fundraises will tell you it's very addictive.
Yeah.
And that was 15 years ago, and I'm still
It's absolutely incredible. It really is. And how much money have you raised across the 15
personally,
years?
because I also help a committee. But if you just me personally as me and the events that I've organised, I've raised over £250,000.
I mean, it's just phenomenal. It really is.
But when you're doing it,
congratulations to you.
when you're doing it and it's adding up, you know, you just think, oh my God, how is it? You know, every time you get to a milestone,
Yes.
when I got to 200,000, I just thought, I've got to stop looking at what I'm raising and what I'm, you know. But it's, you just think of what that money has been able to achieve.
Yeah.
But it's, I still love doing it. I still love knowing that.
And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No,
Where do you get your inspiration? I mean, you're really creative as well with your ideas. You're highly motivated. You inspire others. Where do you get all that energy and creativity from?
I actually think it was just seeing that girl, and I just said, you know, yes, I need to do something, but what do you do? And it's really funny. Before I was diagnosed, I used to walk 6 miles a day. I would walk to my home. I would walk up to Null, and I was up at Null actually, and I thought, right, first event is going to be a walk around Null. We'll do a fundraising walk, and who do I know that I can get some raffle prizes from? And I started thinking about books because I was a big reader, and I thought, oh, Martina Cole, I'll speak to. I know she lives in Sevenoaks. I'll find out where, you know, who she writes for, a management company, and I will write to Martina. And I finished my walk, got in my car, and I drove to Sainsbury's in Sevenoaks, which is just around the corner from where I live. And I walked in there, and there was Martina Cole shopping. Wow. And everything that I've done ever since, all these little things come at me. So, you know, I was walking down Sevenoaks High Street one day, and I just thought, wouldn't it be good for shops to go pink for, you know, during October, which is Breast Cancer Awareness Month? So I just started going into the shops and saying, how would you feel about going pink? If I've got you all the stuff, you know, some people said, yeah, we'll do that. We'll do a raffle. And over the years, I got everybody involved to the point where we had street parties and, you know, big events. And we had Lisa Snowden come in, and Martina used to come, and we used to have an event on the Vine. And I don't know, it's just, I just try to come up with ideas that are going to get other people involved that they're going to enjoy. And you know, I'm not going to lie and say everything's been easy and you know, I've enjoyed all of it, because I've got hypothermia twice, raising money for breast cancer care, standing on South Kent Station in between two platforms when every time the train come in, we're getting this. So I just think, what would I like to see? What would I like to do? So I've done 3 events with Martina, you know, an evening with Martina Cole, which people loved, and I've done concerts and everything. So I just think, would this work? I've had lunches, the fashion show that I'm going to do in September, and I've been really lucky because so many people in Sevenoaks got behind me, and you can't do it without that support. You just can't.
What did you dream of doing when you were little?
I wanted to be a footballer.
Really?
I wanted to play for Chelsea. And me and my big sister actually did get trials at Chelsea, but this was at a time before women's football really took off. They couldn't get enough people to form a team, so that never happened.
Yeah.
So my next best love after that was tennis. So I
Yes,
became
you're a tennis coach for
a
quite some
professional
time.
tennis coach. So and I did that up until the point where I stopped working to become a carer for my mum until she passed away. And then, you know, then not long after I got the breast cancer, and it's, you know, I'm good. This is why I started my Seven Oaks communities, is because I'm good at putting people together, and I'm good at talking to people, and so that's what I love now. But the young Steph would have been playing for Chelsea.
And who has inspired you over the years? I mean, you've already mentioned so many people.
My mum. My mum is the person that inspired me the most, and she is the person who, well, not only made me who I am. I used to look at my mum. My mum suffered. My mum had rheumatoid arthritis from the age of 36, and had it very, very badly. But she never ever complained, and she just loved people and was nice to everyone, and, you know, brought us up, all of us. And it's thanks to my mum that I even found my breast cancer, because when we were little girls, our mum used to lay us on the bed, this is unheard of, and teach us how to check our breasts. My mum was really very much forward thinking.
Yeah.
But she was just so kind.
Yeah.
And I have always said to myself, if I can be half the person that she was, I'd be happy with my lot. And I just try to be like her.
Oh, fantastic. What does success mean to you? Because it means very different things to different people.
Helping people.
Sorry, I didn't.
Helping people.
Helping people.
I don't look at success as monetary things. I don't look at it as, don't get me wrong, we'd all like lots of money, we'd all like posh cars and big houses, and but some of the things that have happened while I've been fundraising, and some of the people that I've met and been able to help, that is success for me, is putting people together, putting charities together, if I see somebody that needs help, there might be somebody that I can put with them to help them out. So that's what I see as success. I don't see monetary things. I'm not impressed by money or people that are famous, unless it's Barbara Streisand, then I'd be impressed.
That's the one exception.
But I just take people as they are, and hopefully they do the same for me.
Why do we need more well-balanced workplaces?
I think since COVID, it's got worse, but I think for the last 20 years, probably, that people suffer much, much more with mental health problems, with stress related. I think life has become such a rat race. And I think everybody's on this treadmill of, you know, working. I mean, you know, you get on a train to London and you see these people that are coming home at 8, 9 o'clock at night, and they've got no work-life balance. And I've spoken to a lot of people like that. And I just think the issues with mental health and everything else, there needs to be a balance. People need to stop putting all that stuff first and then wondering why they're stressed. I was chatting earlier with somebody about stress. It's the biggest killer in the world. You know, I honestly think I got breast cancer because of stress. I used to worry about everybody, worry about everything. And I think COVID, literally, everybody suddenly couldn't go to work. And they suddenly went, whoa.
Yeah.
But sadly, now what's happened is everybody, it's gone the other way, because everybody just doesn't want to work, you know. But it is important that you have a balance with anything in life, because otherwise life is just too stressful.
What skills do you need to be a great leader?
Compassion. I just think Richard Branson said something once, and it was, you look after your staff and your staff will look after your customers. And that's so true. You have to be,
that's a great quote.
Yeah, you have to be compassionate, and you have to give people, this is a little local story, but I was in Wagamama's a couple of years ago, and the manager there was a friend of mine, and one of her staff members ran in, and you could tell that she must have been really, really late. And she ran up to her and she said, Magda, I'm so sorry, the train broke down, I had to wait for another train. And I could see the stress in this girl's face. And Magda just said to her, calm down, relax, go outside, make yourself a cup of coffee and come out when you're ready. And I thought, that's a good boss. That's a good boss, because I think intimidating or making or pressurizing people, you're not going to get the best out of them. You need to understand your workforce. You need to understand people. You know, some people are having bad days. Some people might have stuff going on in their lives. So, you know, when I talk to my writer or anything like that, if she says, oh my God, Steph, I'm really sorry. I'm sorry I didn't get it over. I just go, don't worry about it. It's not the end of the world. You know, I just think there's more important things to worry about. And if everybody was a little bit more compassionate, we probably wouldn't suffer with the stresses that we were just talking about.
Yeah, that's great advice. Have you built confidence and resilience over the years with everything that you've been through?
It was the breast cancer and having to get through that. I mean, I was always quite a confident person. I'm not, you know, I was never a wallflower by any means. And I could walk into any room and not feel intimidated. But the breast cancer builds up a different type of confidence and a different type of resilience once you're through it. I'm not going to lie and say when you're going through it, it's easy, because you're going through all the trials and tribulations of thinking about medication and the effects of the medication. But afterwards, it certainly gives you a resilience that you never thought you had. I'm talking to somebody at the moment that's going through it now, and they said, you know, this is really difficult because I'm a dancer and I feel like my body's giving up on me and I don't know how to cope with it. And I said, I promise you that feeling will go. And it does. But when you're in it for 5 years or whatever, you never think it's going to.
Yeah.
So I think adversity always makes us stronger.
Yeah, I completely agree with you with that. How do you balance everything? So obviously you've talked about stress and speaking with people and seeing firsthand how stressed people are for various reasons and with what's going on in their life. But how do you balance work, personal life, the fundraising, hobbies? How do you do it all?
I never used to do it very well. I'm not gonna lie. It did used to get really stressful, and I've had to learn how to balance everything. So one of the things that I say now is, if I'm doing an event or if I'm preparing for an event, I very much go on instinct. So if I feel as though something's not working, before I would have just pushed through, and now I don't. Now I say, this isn't meant to be.
Yeah.
This is, as I say, I get these really weird messages that when I'm going to do something, it's meant to be.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it is that gives me that message that something does. Here's a simple, for instance. I couldn't decide whether it was right to go and see my best friend who lives in America. And I'd already been twice, and I thought, should I go again? You know, there's other things that I want to do. And at that time, money was a little bit tighter than I really needed it to be for a big trip to the States. And I was in Sainsbury's, and let me just preface this with, I have got a thing with robins. Whenever I need some advice or help or anything, a robin will turn up. And I'm not just talking about you know, in the street and will fly past me. It will land on a table next to me, or really weird stuff. And I was in Sainsbury's, and I thought, right, I've got to make the decision today. And I leant forward to get a bag of potatoes, and in Sainsbury's, a robin was sitting there looking at me.
Oh my God.
I just went, yeah, okay, I'm going.
Yeah.
And it was a really great trip. So, but these things happen a lot since I've been doing the breast cancer stuff. But I do know that my health and well-being did suffer at times because I pushed myself too much. So now I don't push myself too much. I make sure I get time to relax. I make sure I get time to do the things that I like to do, and I put me first. It's really strange because when I was having the breast cancer treatment, that one of the nurses says, "Why, have some counselling with one of the counsellors at the hospital." And I said, "I don't need counselling. I've got breast cancer. What is she going to do?" But during the counselling, it really did help me. And she said, putting yourself first is not being selfish. If you don't look after you, who's going to?
Yeah.
And it's true. You have to look after yourself. So I do put me first. And if I ever feel as though something that I'm trying to do, either for breast cancer or for somebody else, is going to put me in a position that's going to stress me out or anything like that, just don't do it.
Yeah, no, that's good. You've got a very strong instinct, and you know when something
you
right.
have to, because if you don't, you're the only person that's going to suffer. You're the only person that's going to get worn out and stressed. And I did used to get really stressed with it because, as I say, it's addictive, and you want to do more and you want to do more. And it was only when somebody said to me, "Do you not think you've done your bit?" And I kind of went, "Yeah, you know what, I have." So I don't push myself so much in any form now.
And what advice would you give women as well that are going through a hard time for various reasons? Maybe it's at work, maybe it's in a relationship, maybe they've got financial problems. What advice would you give them they know that they want a better life, they know what they want to achieve, but they just don't know how they're going to get there?
I think the most important thing is to talk to other people. I think if you haven't got anybody to speak to, and you're just holding it all in, again, that's the stress. You start to feel as though, which way do I turn? Who do I speak to? That is why I went with breast cancer care, because they're there to speak to people.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important. And I got a lot out of that, and I got a lot out of understanding that and then speaking to people myself. So if I needed to, I would seek advice. I would say to people, "This is how I'm feeling today," and that is important. A lot of people don't want to burden others with either their problems or anything, anything to do with where you think that you're going to put on somebody, and I just think speak to people, speak to close friends, speak to family.
Yeah.
That's what people are there for. They're there to help and to brainstorm with. So if it's that you just need somebody to talk to because you're feeling down or low, obviously that's what a friend wants to be there for. If it's business advice, then speak to somebody in that field that can help you. I think we're all afraid of asking people for help. And I think that's the one thing that we should be doing. A lot of people see it as weakness. It's not weakness, it's strength.
Yeah. And finally, tell us about your latest fundraising event.
Oh, God, for my sins. With breast cancer care, we used to do something called The Show, which was a fashion show for mainly women, but we always had 2 men there as well, who had gone through a breast cancer diagnosis. So it's kind of there to say, you've been through this horrible time, but look now, you've come through it and you've had a wonderful time. And I kept thinking about doing it in Sevenoaks and thinking, should I, shouldn't I? And then I just got some more of those messages, which literally said, yeah, it's time to do it. So September the 28th, fashion show in at Baton Ball, the new community hall. 8 women, 2 men, all had a history of breast cancer. And it's going to be fun. We've got a lot of entertainment. We're going to have a lot of laughs.
Yeah.
We're going to highlight a lot of businesses in Sevenoaks who are prepared to help, and hopefully raise a lot of money and awareness for people suffering with breast cancer.
And how can people find out more about it if they want to get
They
involved?
can go on, so we've got a Facebook page called Charity Angels UK Fundraising Group.
Fantastic.
That's the best way to look. All the details will start to appear on there very, very soon.
No, it sounds absolutely wonderful, and I'm sure lots and lots of people will want to get involved.
I hope so. It's going to be a lot of fun. We've got some amazing models, and a lot of people in Sevenoaks are already. The businesses of Sevenoaks have been fantastic. So we'll fill the place and we'll have some laughs.
Oh, well, thank you so much for your time today. I know how incredibly busy you are, tearing here, there, and everywhere, and doing this event and that event, but I really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
It's been a pleasure, honestly, Natalie. Thank you for asking me.
Thank you. Right, hang on, I don't